Yeah, Richard Engel. These were like these were two dog shit takes. I'm gonna address really quickly. But the only thing I need to address right now is the top of the hour ad break that's coming right now. At the top of the hour, there's a 60-second ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Or by getting gifted a sub. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Adam Kinzinger says, the fate of Ukraine is being decided tonight, but also the fate of the West. Declare a no-fly zone over Ukraine at the invasion of their sovereign government. Disrupt Russia's air ops and give the heroic Ukrainians a fair fight. It's now or later. Okay. How is this a fucking horrible take? Because economic sanctions are one thing. And Russia might say this is an act of war. You know, full-blown sanctions are an act of war. You're doing an act of war when you do full-blown sanctions. Fuck you, right? That's one thing. However, people think no-fly zones are just like, you know, they think it's a bubble. Like, I think you just say, hey, it's a no-fly zone now. And then Russia's like, oh, no, they have instituted no-fly zone. How will we fly over this force field? Ah! Like, you have to enforce a no-fly zone. And what that means is you have to fly your jets and blow up Russian jets within that no-fly zone. That is how no-fly zone works. It's no different than putting military, like official sanctioned NATO troops that are from any of these NATO countries, which means all of those NATO countries, going in to Ukraine and fighting against Russian forces, which means all-out nuclear war. Okay? So, of course, what NATO is going to keep doing is just like sending planes, as they have, which is an escalation from European countries for sure. They're going to probably share intel, troop positions, things like that. They're probably going to send in, special operators that are unofficially there, and keep doing that. They're going to give a lot more money and a lot more guns to Ukraine, but never officially a no-fly zone, because that is the same as starting nuclear war, all-out nuclear war. Okay, that's it. A no-fly zone is when you declare a territory a no-fly zone and you shoot down any fucking planes that fly over it. And of course, Zelensky asked, which is like, you know, a ridiculous ask, but one you are going to make if you are desperate. And Biden said, no. Of course not, because a no-fly zone is exactly the fucking same as putting NATO troops inside of Ukraine. However, Ukraine has gotten, I don't know if it's 70, but Ukraine has gotten a lot of jets from European countries. So there is that.
I love you.
They also have said that there will be consequences for nations supplying, weapons to Ukraine. Are these supplies just donations, or will Ukraine have to pay them back later? Well, they get loans for it. First, they get handed aid in the form of loans. Okay, and then they have the money to pay for those weapons that we're giving them. Some of it is probably... Why isn't Russia being more direct in its language about weapons being donated to Ukraine? Is it not an act of war to do so? I think that's something that you can't enforce, to be honest. Like, how are you going to tell other countries not to give guns to Ukraine? They've been doing it for the past 8 years. Like, you're crazy. Like, you didn't have a problem with it for the past 8 years. Now you have a problem with it. I mean, you probably had a problem with it for the past 8 years, but you didn't make a big deal out. You didn't make as big of a deal about it. But like now, you're making a big deal about it because they're fucking killing you, because they're killing your troops, because you invaded. Yeah. And now Sweden is now sending military aid to Ukraine, including anti-tank weapons, helmets, body armor. Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson has announced. The instructions for Swedish anti-tank weapons. This is a big banger. Very cool, very easy to use. Anyway, Richard Engel. Remember, NBC's like top foreign analyst, Richard Engel, and a war correspondent. Beautiful hair, by the way. says, perhaps the biggest risk calculation moral dilemma of the war so far. A massive Russian convoy is about 30 miles from Kyiv. The U.S. NATO could likely destroy it, but that would be direct involvement against Russia and risk everything. Does the West watch in silence as it rolls? The way you tweet about whether the U.S. and NATO should engage in a full-on war against a nuclear-armed superpower is shockingly glib. It's not as simple as watch in silence as it rolls or not. The stakes are risking nuclear annihilation. Like, Biden understands this. Most people in even in the fucking foreign policy blob that like are just so bloodthirsty and so horny, okay, to fucking engage in as much war as possible, like they are the ones who are saying, no, we're not going to send troops, we're not going to send troops, we're not going to send troops. So think about that for a second. When America says we're not going to send troops, think about what the fuck that means. The convoy is literally 17 miles long, by the way. A Russian convoy north of Kyiv is now stretched out over 17 miles. The line of vehicles is so extensive that it was not entirely captured by satellite imagery. Yeah, this is the second flank. They're coming in with an even larger force, and they're coming in with more brutality because the ceasefire is not going to fucking work. And this is what I am fearful of, that they're just going to fucking... they're gonna get worse than they're no longer going to be as strategic in their targeting. And of course, strategic targeting doesn't even mean anything because
20 months.
It's not, there's still going to be fucking people that die, but now they're gonna blow up more infrastructure, and now they're going to kill more random Ukrainian civilians. Like I don't think they're going to be as limited in their strike capacity now. And it's not just this. I'm saying that like this is it's not just this convoy. I'm saying that this convoy resembles, or rather this convoy symbolizes what Russia is going to do next and how it's going to increase its invasion efforts. Starlink has arrived in Ukraine. I wonder why Russia doesn't see that as like I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because it's private. We talked about the Ukrainian border guards stopping African students from leaving the country, from escaping the country, in an effort to prioritize, white Ukrainians from escaping the country first. I covered that extensively yesterday. A video will be coming out on that soon. People are saying that they carpet bombed Kharkiv earlier. And I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't see the videos, but it looks like it. The Ukrainian city of Kharkiv footage shows the unguided rockets impacting a residential area inside the city. Yeah, this was my fear. My fear was that they were going to go from smart weapons to dumb weapons and indiscriminate bombing. The Russian defense minister released footage of combat helicopters during a special operation in Ukraine. Okay. I have a Ukrainian middle schooler in my church youth group. I asked him if his family's okay. He popped off on me about how Russia does not want to hurt anyone and Russia just wants them to put down their weapons so they can talk. I could not get this kid that was born and raised in Ukraine to sympathize with Ukraine. His dad is a huge Trump simp. Well, I mean, dude, people are wild, bro. What do you mean? Like, of course. Breland just repeats how she stands with Ukraine and her prayers are with the country. Canada has only sent like 100 million total. Don't get me fucking started on Freeland. Get the fuck out of here. She's not just standing with Ukraine, okay? She's maybe standing a little too hard, okay? I mean, what is she holding up here? Freeland deleted her tweet, which was this photo of her carrying an OUN banner. This is nothing new. As noted earlier in the thread, she has long supported the OUN and participated in rehabilitating its image.
Yeah, most countries understand what the Russian position
People
is,
see red and black and think, oh, anarcho-communism. It's like, no, dog, that's not. I'm going to leave you guys with the esteemed words of an actual foreign policy analyst, Aiden motherfucking Ross.
I knew that, but look, listen. When Pangea happened years ago,
yeah,
the world was peace. It was all in one, and Pangea happened. And now we're exactly. Now we're separated into different continents, and now how the world works is everything's split. We have mountains and we have, hills and all these things like borders and stuff, right? So I think that, what I was
verbs and vowels.
Bro, he's brilliant. He's fucking brilliant. So nice I had to do it twice. You know what I'm saying?
It's just, I don't know.
It's crazy that like 50 years ago, the consonants separated.
What's gonna happen?
You think Elon's Starlink contribution to Ukraine is a good or bad thing? Genuinely curious about your stance on it. Of course it's a good thing. Why would it be a bad thing? I mean, it's good. It's a good thing. That's not a bad thing at all. Of course it's a good thing. If the internet gets knocked out, like, information is really important. Information sharing is really fucking important in this situation. So did this guy fucking block me too? God damn it. Yeah, they did. Fucking Christ, dude. How would you rate Biden's response so far to the situation in Russia and Ukraine? Regular voters, too tough, 3%. About right, 31%. Not tough enough, 44%. Percentage say not tough enough. Biden voters, 28%. Trump voters, 67%. Are people actually getting internet, though? You need a satellite dish to receive Starlink? Yeah, no, they're getting... I don't even think it's a satellite dish, but no, they are. They brought in... he sent in receivers, like ground receivers, today. They arrived today. Yeah, we saw the boxes. It's a good thing. That's not a bad thing at all. Anyway, Trump voters 67% saying not tough enough. Democrats 25%, GOP 58%. Okay. This compared to like where it was is kind of wild. Like it like happened super quickly. Now, part of the reason why it happened super quickly is because Russia actually fucking invaded. So, you know, when an actual invasion happens, it's a little bit different, you know, when Americans already have this belief that we are the world's, like, you know, moral good. We are the moral police of the world. So when an actual unjustifiable action is being done to a smaller nation by our foreign adversary, then obviously everyone's going to fucking be like, let's do it. Let's go. YOLO, baby. Nobody wants an actual war, but there's clear plurality support for tougher rhetoric and action than the administration offered. Seems like a bad idea to me, but that's what the Twitter leftist who doesn't know how to win elections would say. The political space, the concept of the no-fly zone occupies. Fail to see a downside. The Dems can adopt a modest culture of war concessions. Jail trans kids in red states, war with Russia in exchange for passing BBB in 2023. Wow. That's a joke, by the way. He's joking. Anyway, Fox News splitting the possibility of Biden benefiting from rallying around the flag. Okay.